Cade Cunningham, right now, he's the favorite to go number 1. What do you think makes him the odds-on favorite to be the top pick?
Look, Cade Cunningham has no weaknesses, and he is a perfect fit for Detroit. And if you look at the numbers, Detroit was one of the worst in the leagues in late game scenarios, and Cade Cunningham had the most clutch time points. I think his team was like 13-5 in that scenario, and that's, the last 5 minutes of the game within 5 points. So everything you need to win at the next level, he's got it. And one thing that I sort of noticed, and this is the personal difference for me as a player that has also been drafted, number 1, okay? You see at
like
the
that
college
plug.
level,
Easy flex.
a lot of guys, I know, shameless flex. You see at the college level, a lot of guys that have go-to moves and great moves. What Cade Cunningham has, counter moves. And those counter moves have counter moves. And that's something you learn even 4 or 5 years into the league that he's perfected now and will translate. And so Cade is a shoo-in, perfect fit for number 1. And as you see those numbers, I mean, led the Big 12 in scoring. But if you insert NBA guards that can knock down shots consistently around him, that number that's 20 could have easily been 30. So Cade, this is going to be a tremendous moment for him. Look out for his beautiful daughter, Riley, who will hopefully be at the draft. It's going to be about family, and it starts with that number one overall pick with Cade.
Chiney said his counter moves got counter moves. That's a bar right there if I ever heard one. Chiney, you were obviously first overall pick in the WNBA draft. You're still playing while doing stuff at ESPN, while rising up the ranks. You know the game of basketball. Who are you most excited about in this draft?
Okay, first of all, you're my favorite Acho, so I just wanted to tell you that.
All right, that's no question. We already knew that. I'm about to be the world's favorite Acho now. No,
oh, yeah.
I know. I'm not even answering any of these questions, though. But seriously, the one that I'm most excited about, genuinely, is Scottie Barnes. My goodness, this man is energy. He's enthusiasm. He'll clap in your face and give you full court defense. He's just everything that you want in a player to root for if you're an NBA fan, even removing the skill. I mean, this guy works hard. I love Scottie Barnes, and I think he's going to make an impact. But the Houston me, the 281, the 713, the 832 in me, is really excited about the number 2 overall pick. And I am a big fan of Evan Mobley, but given our recent history, the Rockets losing James Harden and all that he brought to the city, the swag, the three-point shot, the highlights, Jalen Green is that perfect guy to step in and sort of move the franchise into that same type of energy where the city wants to come out and see you play. I mean, this was the best audition and case for future prospects to go to the G League, that developmental program with the G League Ignite, where you had Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green really now going to be taken in the draft and shown that their stock has improved. They've learned a lot of things from business through the classes and courses they've taken through the G League, and now are going to be top picks. So in Houston, you know how they always say, Houston, you got to. There is no problem whether it's Evan Mobley or Jalen Green, but I do think Jalen Green makes sense based on the vibe of what the Houston Rockets franchise has been, with James Harden now trying to move and find its future star.
For me, the most interesting team in this whole draft is the Golden State Warriors, because we know that they're not afraid of the luxury tax and they're not afraid to make moves, and they're trying to, they've been taking receipts for about a couple of years of everybody, having fun at their misery, losing Clay. What do you expect? Do you expect any big-time moves with Golden State, or do you expect them to kind of, make their picks and try and make, trades later?
If I am the Warriors, I am trying to maximize on Steph Curry, Klay Thompson coming back, Draymond Green right now. And so I will, you know how we say it, risk it all. There are some really interesting evaluations happening. No risky, no bisky. There are a lot of really interesting evaluations happening with the Warriors pick. Some have said Franz Wagner out of Michigan, which is interesting because he's very much like do-it-all, hustle, type of player that we get with Draymond. But right now, I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors as in we've seen some experiments, getting Oubre, getting Wiggins, and we've seen that it's not so easy to just plug and play around their stars. I think that they have to maximize, because we know that we're going to get that huge prime of the final, the last 3 or 4 years of Steph's careers. If he's able to play at a high level like we know for longer, that's awesome. But this time period now is where you really go all in. It's not like a scenario where it's like LeBron James and we like think it's going to go to infinity and beyond based on what we're seeing. Like based on the number of talent that they have, and Clay coming off of injury, I look at the Warriors and say like this is the moment. We're not going to say let's buy a couple years. I think the time is now because you have the assets now, and that brings the urgency on their franchise.
So it's all in, maybe packaging Wiseman, Wiggins, and all these draft picks, or maybe a Bradley Beal, or trying to make a real play for Dame Dollar?
Bart Scott, the GM.
No. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm saying
That's
be
great.
smart. Because, I think Wiseman, it just was difficult based on his, health towards the end of the year to get a real assessment on what he's capable of. But we all know he's an athletic, big that has a great future. So I think with their current picks and also with their conversations, because they have one of the best front offices in the league, they're going to make a smart move, but they're not going to be afraid to make a move as well. They just won't go crazy because that's not how Golden State really moves.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.